While the landscape of film and television has now made great strides in allowing young members of the LGBTQ community to see themselves represented on screen, take FX's award-winning Pose or 20th Century Fox's teen rom-com Love, Simon, for many of the performers and creators of the compelling LGBTQ stories of today, seeing themselves on screen growing up, let alone in a positive light, was simultaneously rare and meaningful. In honor of Pride Month, The Hollywood Reporter spoke to 7 LGBTQ icons to mine their memories of the first glimpses of representation that proved to be formative in the development of their identities. Billy Porter, MJ Rodriguez, Billy Eichner, Ryan O'Connell, Kiersey Clemens, Shangela, and Josh Thomas all spoke to THR about the moments of LGBTQ representation they witnessed on screen as they were coming into their own, and perhaps more significantly, the imagery that was missing.
Good evening and good morning, hookers.
I know it's hot. I said good evening and good morning, hookers!
For Golden Globe nominee Billy Porter, who currently stars as Pretel in Pose, his recollection of LGBTQ portrayals were far from positive. Says Porter, all of the images that had anything to do with LGBTQ when I was younger were all about secrecy, shame, violence, and sickness. It was always something that was negative. When I was sort of coming of age in show business, there was no place, especially with black people. You really never saw someone who was a person of color doing that, really. I don't remember any at all. The only images I saw were white people. For Porter's co-star MJ Rodriguez, who plays Blanca, NBC's Will and Grace was the first time the then 11-year-old saw stories of queer people and their allies, but noticeably absent were transgender women. The other show that really reached out to me was Noah's Ark, says Rodriguez. I watch it on repeat almost every single time I got a chance to. Not only was this a highlight of African-American queer culture, but there were a lot of trans women that were featured on that show. While a lot of them did not have leading roles, they were still faces on screen that I could recognize and relate to.
Hey, focus. Save that for Grindr.
I love that you think I have enough self-esteem to be on Grindr.
For writer and actor Ryan O'Connell, the creator and star of Netflix's Special, the character of Ricky Vasquez on My So-Called Life evoked a feeling of kinship that O'Connell, who did not yet know he was gay, could not define at the age of 8. Years later, O'Connell notes that he is still yet to feel totally represented on the screens of today, saying, "If we're being brutally honest here, babe, I've never really seen anyone quite like myself on screen. Gay, disabled, good luck with your projects." So that's been the driving force behind my work, to make sure that identities like mine don't get erased and that they are created by the people who've actually lived these experiences.
Bitch, can you get down off that stage and come help me close this bar, please?
Actor and drag performer Shangela cites Tu Wong Fu, Thanks for Everything, Julie Newmar, as a watershed moment in her life growing up in Paris, Texas. Says the star of RuPaul's Drag Race, "It was my first time really seeing drag queens in a fun movie that celebrated drag. It showcased that people who are different or who society does not understand can still have a positive impact on the people around them, even in a place where there was no one else like them. That's how I felt being in Paris, Texas. There were a lot of times where I would look around and think I was the only person like me, probably in the whole world. Seeing them and their positive images on screen was so impactful. I thought, God, I hope everyone sees this film." For more on this story, including recollections from Billy Eichner, Kiersey Clemens, and Josh Thomas, head to THR.com. For The Hollywood Reporter News, I'm Linz Rodriguez. Happy Pride!